So today we're going to take a look at Xset versus Optic on Ascent and figure out how Optic managed to qualify. We're going to take a look at Ascent because I think it was perhaps the most interesting of the maps. Obviously a big comeback from 9-3 down. And we're going to take a look first off at Optic's attacking side, which I actually think was really quite bad. Xset got like 6 flawless rounds this half. They only had to win a round by defusing the spike once, which was actually kind of unlosable because of a killjoy lockdown as well. And yeah, Optic just didn't really seem to play to their comp, really. It seemed very disjointed. It seemed quite bad, as we will see in some of the clips here. But let's talk about it, right? So Optic are running the DRX no duelist triple initiator comp, right? So they don't have a duelist, and I've made videos about this before. But essentially what that means is that you can't just burst exec onto a site. You can't just 5-man stack and just run down B or run down A. It just simply won't work because you're not going to be able to get through the choke point. All the defenders have to do is hold down mouse 1 and you are absolutely destroyed. So you kind of can't do that. You have to basically create different angles of attack by coming through different ways, right? By going through mid, by doing these kind of split hits instead. That's generally what you want to be doing with this comp. For whatever reason, Optic, you know, very rarely decided to do that, or when they did decide to do it, a lot of times it was disjointed, where, you know, the people out here in B main would be going first, whilst people in mid would be stuck back here. It just didn't look good, as you will see. And let's take a look at round number 6 as our first example. And this, I think, was number 3 of 4 in a row of flawless rounds for Xset. So it starts off with just like some early B main trade of utility, KO knife, Sova dart, and then Killjoy now swarm, and then as you see, Optic are grouping up and deciding to come towards short here. Now this is really something that shouldn't really happen. You should never have like 4 people. I don't know why it freezes there, but it does. You shouldn't really ever be doing this. And a Sova drone, as you can see here, comes from Zekken. And so because they hear the Sova drone and they don't want to have, you know, 4 people revealed here, they decide, okay, let's just, you know, try and get in there before this Sova drone reveals exactly what we want to do. And so they try to just force themselves through this narrow choke point here, and yeah, that's going to go about as you expect. So the Sova drone tags crashes there. A KO nade is going to come in from death, so this is actually the Xset KO nade, and Zekken's going to swing because his own nade isn't going to do too much damage to him, and he manages to find the first kill. And this really is the problem with their strategy here, right? They are all grouped up in this tiny area, and they just have no space to maneuver whatsoever. They have no idea what's going on over there. They're scared that, again, you know, they can be spammed by the smoke at any point and that they'll be in trouble there. They have no A main control whatsoever, and obviously the Omen is just watching that, so there's no pressure coming from A main. It just doesn't really work when you're trying to just force through this choke point here. Really what you want is when people are coming in here to contact through this choke point, you want to already be like doing this at the same time, so that, for instance, Def in this situation would be in trouble, right? But he's not in trouble. He can just absolutely look at them and they're just going to start spraying them down here, right? They put in the Sova dart and they just have nowhere to go. Flash comes in here from Def, he manages to get a kill. They all have to retreat and then they've lost the spike and then they all just get spammed down, right? Zekken and Def just literally hold mouse 1 in this choke point and they don't get through it, right? And this was a lot of Optic's attack where it didn't really look pretty. It was kind of just like forcing things that aren't really possible with their comp. It wasn't really that good. And now let's come to round 10, which again is going to look like another pretty baffling round as well. So Optic are going to start with this again early B main pressure. They send out a Prowler there, they clear out B main, and Victor is going to destroy the turret and go for the ult orb here. So we've got the Astra and the Sova deep back towards mid, but now they're going to do something kind of interesting. They send a Prowler in there again. Zekken kills it. He's going to send his Sova dart into B main. We get a Fade Haunt towards Market there. A Sova dart is about to come in onto the ceiling here. And Optic are just going to walk in, right? No utility, no nothing. I mean, the Sova and Astra are still miles away as well. They're just going to walk in. Again, I think these two are just trying to avoid this Sova dart. And, you know, FNS is baiting like, oh, yeah, we're still back here. Don't worry about it. The problem is with this, and it might look weird. I mean, you obviously know what the problem is with this, right? They're just going to end up walking into this Killjoy here, you know, no utility, not knowing what's going on, and die. But the reason that they're doing this, I know this sounds super weird and it looks super weird, and you might be like, if my bronze teammates did this, you know, I'd be flaming them. And probably rightly so. The reason that I think they're doing this is because this is literally how they were winning rounds, basically. Just kind of hoping that Xset weren't there and just walking in. And so this time they do walk into Xset and 2 of them die straight away, right? And so then, you know, these smokes come in from the Astra, FNS tries to swing, he dies as well. And now the Astra and Sova, you know, are just miles away. not really ready for a hit at all. And again, it looks disjointed, right? It doesn't look like a round that has a high success chance. But these were the rounds. This is how they basically won their rounds, was just kind of hoping that Xset weren't there, walking into a space for free essentially, and then winning the round from that. But anytime Xset were there, essentially they got destroyed. Mob is able to get that 1 kill, but Xset managed to trade them out and win the round pretty comfortably. But for as bad as their attacking side was, their defensive side was very, very good indeed. Of course, because they managed to actually win this game without overtime, down 9-3. So that is a pretty big comeback, no doubt. And well, obviously one of the major advantages of running this comp is defensively, you're going to have very, very good information. Almost perfect information, you might say, because you just obviously have the KO knife, the double prowlers, the Sova Dart, the drone, the Fade Haunt as well. That's a lot of utility to find out where people are, and we see this in the pistol round as we will see. So we've got a minute 4 left, and what Xset are about to do is they're going to group up and come towards there. You see that they throw a KO knife in here, but already they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. You can see we just got Ye here posted up towards B, and as long as his chamber trap lives in mid, and as long as he's here, they should be okay. So Xset start to group up and they start to come towards A, and what we're gonna get is actually this time Optic are a bit confused. You see that they don't really know what's going on, but we're about to get a KO knife that is going to absolutely spoil Xset's party, because it's going to reveal those 3 players. And so as soon as you see the Jet, Silver, and KO, you know that that's pretty much where the hit is going to come in. So the rotates start to come in from the side of Optic there. You see we got a KO nade towards main to slow them down, a little smoke on here as well, and so it delays the hit, right? But in come Xset, they're going to try and execute in onto this site, and they start to come. The Omen's going to come from short and TP across, but what we're about to get is a Fade Haunt up here, and that Fade Haunt is going to reveal them right there, and so obviously they just start spamming those players, and then we get a Sova Dart on the top of this wall as well, that again also reveals these players. And this is the thing, right? I think a lot of people see Fade as like, the Sova replacement on a lot of maps, and that is true. But I do really think that when they come in combination, it is such a deadly combo. Being revealed in this game, I mean, being revealed is like the most OP thing you can have, particularly on the defensive side. And so just having like multiple things to throw at the same time, that way, you can't really shoot both at the same time. You're going to get revealed by one, if not both in this scenario. It's just so strong, and so they just start mopping up, right? Because they're just shooting at them for free, basically. They start getting the trades, and we end up in this 3v1 here, where BCJ is ultimately going to die to Victor there. Just really nice, and you see the strength of this comp, right? The being revealed is essentially OP. Now let's come to round number 19. So in this round, again, Xset, they are going to group up, and because they have the Jet, they are sort of, more able to do this than Optic are. And so what they're going to do is they're just going to put the Killjoy lockdown in kind of the common corner, and then just go in off the back of that. Very common kind of thing to do. The thing is, though, with a Killjoy lockdown, obviously it does make things a bit obvious, and Xset actually decided to push in, very aggressively with it. They're going to go straight in, even though, the Killjoy lockdown still has plenty of time left. A bit risky, considering, there is a chamber on the other side who could potentially get a kill and TP out and, not be hit by the lockdown as well. But luckily for them, the KO knife is going to catch Ye. They send in the Oma flash and they come in onto the site, as you can see. But they still don't really check Ye. They're not checking that corner. Luckily, he is suppressed, so BCJ is able to get the trade out, and Marvd is just able to escape. The rotates are already in. Marvd does get detained, though, so this sort of fast retake that you can kind of tell that they want to do can't be quite as quick as they truly want, because they're down a player, so Def is able to get the spike down. However, they are still going to go pretty quick, because as you can see, the Sova drone comes in here. We're going to get an Astra wall across the back here as well. And this creates a lot of pressure for Xset now, right? Because now that you can't really be in these areas, or not easily at least, and know what's going on, and everyone is on the site, it creates a lot of pressure in that everyone kind of has to stay on site, and there's really no safe place aside from Hell, can deal with a potential pinch here of both sides. So it becomes quite a risky game for Xset, but actually the majority of the execute from the side of Optic to try and get back in is just going to come from towards the door. Victor sends in that flash. I have no idea what happens here, because we can't see it, but he manages to get the kill on Zek in there. He is going to get traded out by BCJ, but then then Crashies just comes running in through the one-way anyway and just spamming and gets a kill as well. We're going to get a Prowler out from FNS, and we get another kill there. BCJ is able to kill one, but now Marved is coming from behind, as I said. Very difficult to deal with the pinch from both sides, and Optic managed to win the round with a really nice retake. Now let's come to round number 21, and this round I really don't like this kind of idea on the whole. So what Xset are going to do is you can see that they have the Omen ult here, and this is something that a couple teams have tried. Team Liquid tried it once upon a time, and I've seen some other teams try it as well. I've got to be honest, I really don't like this idea on the whole, but what they're going to do is they're going to send basically the Jet with the spike on a kind of suicide mission, just like hope to run in and hope to get a kill, whatever, you know, hope you do well, and then, you know, they're gonna die, the spike's gonna get dropped. Oh, the spike gets dropped over there, guys, everyone rotate to the spike, right? And then, oh, we're gonna be over here, and Omen ult, pick up the spike, cancel the ult, pick it up, and then we're gonna walk in onto B for free. Now, often what happens in these scenarios is the Jet just dies straight away, doesn't get a kill, and that's why I really don't like this idea on the whole, is that 90% of the time you just end up in a 4v5. Like, you're so desperate to just get the spike down, you're like, yep, we'll take a 4v5, even if it works. But we'll see Optic, again, with this comp, it kind of just completely destroys the whole idea. So Xset kind of realized, oh, we can't just send the Jet in on our own, that isn't enough, so we'll just send in one Killjoy Nanoswarm as well. That will really sell this fake, right? And that's another thing that I think, like, if you're gonna really sell this as like a fake, you know, learn a KO knife from the other side of the map, learn a Sova Dart from the other side of the map, you know, drag the rotates actually across, because in goes Cryo, runs straight into Ye, dies, and now though, what the key part of this is Crash is just gonna send a dart in here, into B main. Right there, and that dart's going to reveal too, and so the jig is straight away, they know what's going on, right? People have run this play before. You can see that Optic weren't really moved by the fact that the spike got dropped there. It seemed like, you know, they were somewhat ready for it. Anyway, the spike does get picked up by the Omen ult right there, but now they're still running in 2-2 players, and so, you know, one dies there to Marved. We're going to get a really, really nice flash from Victor coming out. You see that Marved, he turns to the corner. Victor has just thrown a flash all the way from back here that's going to come in here, and that's going to get them a kill as well. Really, really nice from Victor. He is very good, by the way, at throwing flashes from all the way back there. They got a couple kills like this where he's throwing flashes from deep, and so he manages to get that kill as well. Aaron is going to actually manage to find Victor there, but now he's in a 3v1, running through the KO nade, no time left either, really, and he ultimately will fall as well. And so, yeah, Xset we're getting a bit desperate towards the end here, as you could tell, but Optic, you know, they're not falling for any of your cheap tricks. And then finally, let's come to the very last round, round number 24, and in this one, we're going to get early Prowler towards A, and we do see that there are quite a few players from Xset towards A. They KO knife the early wall there, and Zekken is going to start droning, but the KO knife from the side of Optic is going to come out and suppress the Sova and destroy the drone right there. Straight away, a nice little win for Optic on the whole, but they do know that Def has his KO ult here as well, and so you were going to see that is why Marv is playing all the way back here, so that he can still influence this round, even though they kind of suspect that the KO ult will come down, right? So drone out here, and again, you can be somewhat more liberal with the use, as I talked about before. You got so much information gathering tools that, you know, you could be a bit more liberal with their use, as we see there, the drone down mid, just to get that early kind of info there. In comes the KO ult, and they're going to start executing onto the site. In comes Sova drone, right? In comes KO knife, in comes Omen flash, right? Dash into onto the site. All very nice from the side of Xset, and they do manage to get in onto the site. But as I mentioned before, what's been able to happen is Marv has been able to put down what I call survival smokes, where just like a smoke in the middle of the site, right? And what that allows the defenders to do is just move around from position to position, right? You can get into different spots, you can take one aim duel and then move to a different one, take another one, isolate angles, right? Very, very useful to do, and so that is exactly what happens here, where FNS is going to come there. Marv is going to use his own smoke as well, that kind of blocks out some of the sight lines. You can see him just running across heaven here. He's going to be able to run across and get into an awkward angle as well. Sova Dart comes into the site as well from Crashies there. And so, yeah, they just create a lot of pressure. Marv gets the first kill back there towards A main. People start getting revealed, as you might have just seen there. FNS gets BCJ moving around as well. It's just very, very nice from the side of Optic on the whole. They dealt with this very, very well. In comes the Fade ult as well. They get towards Def. Aaron actually does manage to get 2, but FNS is able to kill Def there, and then with the time running low, gets revealed by the Haunt, and FNS manages to finish it off as well. So, yeah, Optic managed to qualify for Copenhagen. They'll now be playing for the 1 seed as well to try and get even deeper into the tournament. I thought that they played very well in the series on the whole. But their attack side on this map, I think, was a little bit concerning. I'm sure they'll want to improve on that, no doubt. But the defensive side was very, very strong indeed, as you could tell by making the big 9-3 comeback.